Hello, my name is Rabbi Bradley Shavit Artson. I'm the Abner and Rosalind Goldstein Dean's Chair of the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies at American Jewish University. I'm here with my friend and colleague Rabbi David Wolpe of Sinai Temple in Los Angeles, and we're having a conversation about themes involving the High Holy Day period. And the first one I thought that we could talk about is the recognition. You and I have known each other a long time, almost 30 years. And for people who've known each other 30 years and have had time before that means we're not the young rabbis anymore. And we've been thinking about life. So I want to ask you, what are the surprises? What hadn't you expected? What's different than what you had thought the trajectory would be like? And what do you do with that?
I think for me, first of all, the biggest surprise about getting older is how much less you actually have figured out than you assumed when you were younger.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'm going to figure this out by then. And I think what happens is that you make the mystery deeper and broader, but you don't actually reach a solution. And in some ways, because you make the mystery deeper and broader, life is more puzzling because you know more pieces, you have more people in your life, you've seen yourself go through Gilgulim, that is different incarnations, and so it's not that you know less, you know much more, and in some ways you're wiser, but the mystery is even deeper.
Right. So the pieces don't fit into a neat pattern.
They don't.
We haven't solved it.
Right.
I also think there's a way in which at this stage of life, I know as many people who are no longer here as people who are here.
Yes.
And so I do spend a fair amount of every day with some sense of awareness or even communing with individuals that are no longer actively walking this earth.
Right. It does. I mean, one of the reasons why death becomes real is not only because you're getting closer to it, but because, as you say, it's just people in your life have died. So you realize, hey, this really does happen.
Right.
I think that that's true. And it makes you wonder, of course, so what am I going to leave?
Right. Who will remember me in what way?
Yeah.
In what way? Well, and also, you know, the funny, getting back to what you had said at the beginning about not solving the problems, but somehow that becomes more okay in that you see the flow, and you're part of a flow that you don't understand. So you may not have mastery of it, but you can see the harvest of meaning.
You can, and you also see sometimes, mostly with acceptance, but sometimes it's hard. You see how quickly you and everybody else moves on when someone actually does die, and it prepares you for the fact that that the graveyards are full of indispensable people.
Correct.
So that's that, which gives you, I think, I mean, if you think about it enough, or if you feel about it enough, it gives you a certain level of acceptance and resignation. Like, this is whatever kind of pageant and show this is, it'll be okay when I'm not in it.
Right. So it'll be okay to not be in it, and it's okay to not sweat it the way I did when I was in my 20s.
Yes.
And I thought that every single reversal was catastrophic, when in point of fact, no, it's just me.
Right.
And, I'll get over this and the world will survive just fine. And so that shifts then what you want to do with the time remaining. So what do you want to do with the time remaining?
I think at the moment I want to do what I'm doing. I don't know what will come after that. I've not usually been good at long-range planning.
Right.
So most of the major events and projects and so on of my life have surprised me. And so I assume something will come up to surprise me, or
and have surpassed the plans. Right.
Or radically altered the plans,
Yes.
and in most ways have been better.
Yeah.
But I did not expect them. That's true. And look, you and I have both gone through serious illness.
Right.
So that's another thing that changes the plan.
Right. So how does that then link back to the holiday season? We're celebrating yet another new year.
Right.
It's a penitential time for us. It's a time for reflection, not as the kid anymore, but really as someone on the brink of elder, maybe even there. What's the wisdom to bring to yourself and to your community at this stage?
So I should give this more thought, but here goes.
Mhm.
That life is both more and less important than you thought it was when you were younger.
Mhm.
That is, it's more important in that you really do make a difference in people's lives and they in your life, and you have to take yourself very seriously. It's not frivolous, the effect that you have on people's lives. On the other hand, it's less important in that, most of the time, for most of us, life is long enough that you can outlive the disappointments, the pains, the slights.
Right.
And so, as you approach each Rosh Hashanah, just remember that 20 years ago on Rosh Hashanah, almost everything you worried about is long gone. And that's kind of comforting.
Yeah. And I think I would add to that we are sustained in a web of connections. Every year, standing before that congregation, I think about every year before and the people who were with me and the people who are no longer there. And there's a way in which once you're there, you're never not there. Right? So there's this sense of flow and belonging that makes the individual drops not so crucial, but makes the experience really profound.
I think that's beautifully put and exactly true. And you look out at the congregation, and you know people, as you said, who are there, who are not there, but also you know so much more about, you look and you think, I buried this person's father this year, and I was with this person in the hospital, and I married that couple, and it enmeshes you in the drama.
Right. And then the other part is, certainly as a rabbi, you know the faces better than anyone else in the room, and you know their secret stories. And the two places I go with that is to think, imagine then multiplying that by the billions of people on the planet and the God point of view, knowing all those stories. And I remember your grandparents, and I remember your great-great-great-grandparents, and I anticipate your great-great-grandchildren. So to be seen in that way and to allow yourself to think about being seen in that way is poignant. And then I also think about, by now my children are 21, and I remember when they were too little to lift the shofar for the final blowing, and now they're adults.
Yeah.
And so seeing life kind of growing up around you, that also feels like a harvest at this stage.
And it's a very nice, when you talk about, God remembering your grandparents and your grandchildren, there's a very nice blessing in Brachot that says, Haroeh Ochlosia Yisrael. When you see a population of people from Israel, you should say, Baruch Chacham Harazi, blessed be God who knows secrets.
Right.
So to be known is both frightening and comforting.
Beautiful. Wonderful place to stop. Thank you, Rabbi David Boltley of Sinai Temple. I'm Rabbi Brad Artson from the Ziegler School, wishing all of you a Shana Tova.